Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. So, it's been a while since the last time I did a book review. And of course, we're talking about physics books. Today, I want to present you one very interesting book that is not like syllabus book. It's not the book with just exercises that you need to do in order to prepare yourself for the physics exam or something like that. And this is also not the book from that field of popular physics books where you do not need to have like physics or math, some pre-knowledge in order to know how the world works, etc. This is more of a mix, and I think when I show you the book and show you the title, you'll be more familiar with this. So the book title is Physics for Poets. This title, Physics for Poets, it's not something that new because throughout the world in all sorts of universities, for example, liberal arts, etc., you do have courses with this title, Physics for Poets. So right away, this title tells you a little bit on what is going on in this book. Now, this book is rather old one. Of course, this is edition from 2003, but originally the book was written like 50 years ago, in 1970. The author is H.March, that was born in 1937 and died in 2015. This is the book that I'm holding right now, is 5th edition. And I'm sure that this book is one of those books that never get bored. Why? What is so interesting about this book? So, as I said before, first of all, this is not a syllabus book. This is not a book that you need to go through and learn some definitions or do some exercises. I'm not saying that this book does not have exercises in physics. It does, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But the thing, what is interesting about the book is, first of all, the way it's consisted of different chapters with different titles that are not just physics titles. It gives the introduction that is for non-physics major students and all those who want to know more on physics, but with also some structure that will lead you through history of physics, through the history of, let's say, a development of science in general, and how we get to the physics that we know today. So I'll start with the beginning of the book. As I said before, this is a book that was published first time in 1970. After that, it had more than a couple of editions in 1978, 1992, 1996, and 2003. Second thing I want to discuss about this book is contents and different chapters. The interesting chapters are, for example, did God have any choice? So how the world is created the way it is. And that word God is portrayed in different ways in science in general, and especially in physics. Whether we're talking about the Einstein and the question of dice, etc. But also in this book, we also have, for example, the title of the chapter, Does God Play Dice? And we also have some, let's say, usual titles like Schrödinger's cat, talking about the Schrödinger's equation. Also, since this is physics for poets, there must be some poetry inside. And there is one specific chapter that I really enjoyed. It's called The Romance of Energy. And one of the famous laws in physics is definitely law on energy, that energy cannot be destroyed or created ex nihilo, from nothing. So energy is a constant quantity in the world, and it can be just transformed from one form of energy to another. So why is called this physics for poets if there's no like poetry for physicists? Well, this book starts every chapter with specific verses. For example, for chapter 1, that is called Vast and Most Excellent Science, it starts with a couple of verses and it goes like this. How often at night, when the heavens were bright with the light of glittering stars, have I stood there amazed and asked as I gazed if their glory exceeds that of ours. So every chapter, and in this book we find 19 chapters. For every chapter there are a couple of verses or a little bit of poems or some quotes from, again, poetry. It gives specific, let's say, taste and specific feeling that you have at the start of every chapter. It gives you a glimpse on what you might find inside of that chapter. After 19-20 chapters, there is a treat for a reader. And when I say treat, it might be more of a treat for physicists or math majors or just people who enjoy solving puzzles, solving exercises, questions, etc. What do I mean by that? Well, at the end of the book, there are questions and exercises for each chapter. So it starts with questions, and if the reader does not know how to answer those questions right away, there are of course hints to help you with these questions. There are also work examples in exercises. Now, every book in physics, for example, college books, high school books, etc., with exercises, they do have solutions in order for students to check whether it got the right result, etc. But here in this book, you don't find like answers to all questions. And I think the intention of the author was to show that, yeah, you might have, as a reader, as an observer, as just an ordinary citizen, lots of questions on the world we live in. But it's not always that we find answers. Nobody has all the answers. And in this book, at the end of the book, after those that section with questions, exercises, for example, etc., you find answers, but not all answers. Only answers to odd-numbered exercises. Yeah, it's weird, it's strange, it's a little bit bizarre, but it's also interesting. Why did the author choose to give just the answers to odd-numbered exercises and not the even ones? I don't know, but it's interesting. And with these exercises, yeah, you get the answers to odd-numbered one, and I think it also has the other intention, other role, purpose here, and that is with the answers to odd number exercises. With those answers, the reader has the chance to develop different logic, different understanding of the specific matter, of the specific subject treated in each chapter, and it might help for reader to develop its own thinking and getting to right answers by himself, by not checking the answers for every single time for each number. So I think in general the book is really interesting. It has a different way of writing. It's not just the book that will tell you the story of Big Bang, how everything was really, really dense and hot at the beginning, and we don't know what happened in the first couple of seconds, millions of seconds, etc. It gives you another glance of that story, and it's the way how it's constructed and the chapters and these exercises at the end, etc. I think it differs from the other books in popular physics section, and also the syllabus, for example, for those courses called Physics for Poets in different universities. And this is, I think, the specifics on why this book is so popular and why it had so many editions. At the end of this video, I'll present to you some of most important for me and most interesting quotes in verses presented in this book, and I hope you find them interesting by yourself too. Of course, this is a book I do recommend for you to read, and I hope you find it and read for yourself and find some interesting parts. If you do so, if you find something that I haven't posted, that I haven't presented here, please comment and leave those quotes in comments below this video. Thank you, and enjoy the quotes and verses in the next part of this video.